Okay, I hope we're live. Okay, hello. There we go. I am Verdar Busto. This is the Schumann Resonance Harmonics channel on Facebook and on YouTube. And thank you for showing up today. Let me just check to make sure that this thing is still running. Yeah, I'm a minute 37 into it. All right. Pardon me. So this is the part B of the observation, the current observation of the Schumann. I don't do these as often as I should. I kind of prefer, in a lot of cases, teaching lessons for folks so you yourself can learn how to interpret the Schumann resonance, the spectro, this thing that's right here. So I would rather give you the knowledge for you yourself how to do it, and yet I accept that I have a very unique way of delivering the interpretation of the Schumann, and I am seeing things differently than most other people are, and so that's why mine are, I don't know, more fun maybe. I don't know, more just differenter. Everyone kind of gives their own sort of view, but some people's are more closer than others are. Mine tend to be more differenter than most folks, because I kind of have a generally different view of how to do oh, good golly, I've read so much on crap on this that is coming out of my ears. I can tell you all about the Schumann. All right. I like this microphone method. I gotta find another one. This thing was like $25 altogether. It was under 25. I get a coupon. It was like I picked it up with no shipping. So I think I'll spend a little bit more money and get another one. I don't know. Alex and I are still trying to figure out ways we can plug microphones into the computer. So, excuse me, sorry about that. So even though I have kind of my favorite test method for doing it, we're still figuring out some different interesting ways that we can plug a signal, some kind of noise-making device, whether it picks up a noise or it, sends out to the headphones, so we can, kind of get some interesting videos together. All right, so I didn't really get into the observation of the Schumann last time, and I only introduced the general topic of what I'm doing here with the next lesson. And the first lesson, all right, there we go. First lesson is we're learning about the spectrogram. And I haven't got off of that topic yet, that I'm still in the process of figuring out where the heck to put this microphone here. All right, so hopefully I like that. Sorry, pardon me. Sorry about that. But let me have a. And I gotta say something I forgot. The last video I made, I ended it with music and it didn't play because I forgot to do the little setting in the capture program. And I fixed it, so I'm pretty sure this time it's got music running through it. So I haven't gotten any comments on it. I just posted that video, so invariably I haven't even listened to it. I haven't even listened to it, but I know there's no sound at the end of it because I forgot to turn the that little button on. I had it off. It's and let me just tell you, Bradley, who shall remain nameless, and asked, "Oh, why don't you do more live?" Because there's more moving parts to doing a live scream than there is doing one on tape like this. There's enough things to remember doing it here, that doing the live stream is one more level of complexity to doing these. It's a camera, and you got to figure out just more stuff. Um, excuse me, sorry about that. Again, the recording studio here is in the basement, and there's only a limited amount of space of kind of how I can sit with Alex and the cameras and all of this, and so it's we're working on actually getting a new space, a new studio space. But in the meantime, things move at the rate the universe moves them for all of us. All of the moving parts can only move at the rate they move at, the frequency we move at. Not everyone operates by the same clock. The universe has many, many, many clocks that operates by. All right, so excuse me. So let me get into the lesson here of where we're at with this. All right. So okay. So something that while I'm here, while we're all here together in this wonderful magical moment, there's something else that I need to kind of mention or point out, that I can forget that there are various levels of students who are here. Not everyone is at the same level, and some folks have more of this than others, and so between the YouTube and Facebook and where I'm all at, there's a few thousand, up to maybe 3,000 people that are fairly new, because I'm fairly new relatively to channels here. And a lot of this stuff has recently picked up since January. So there's been a lot more interest that's been picking up since January. And that's where I come in, because I'm hopefully I'm working to give people good information, and that's what we're looking to do here in this channel. And I know with Wages World and a number of other people are really trying to understand what is happening, and looking for good information. And so that's why it's important, and why I provide all these scientific journals and all up here you can see it, all these different references. And this brings us to finding the good information is learning. Where again, my spoken stated intention is we're talking about the spectrogram. All right. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So, talking about the spectrograms first of all, and I'm showing examples of a few of them. All right. So this particular one is the background radiation of their Tomsk. Okay, and where they're at their observatory. Okay. So you see this here. This is the decibel scale. Okay, this is the strength, the relative strength, field strength. I have presented the definition of a decibel before. I think what I'm going to do is make just a little short video on the word decibel and explain that, and then explain what these charts are relative to the decibel. Okay, so just for right now, what this lesson is, you're looking on this side. This is megahertz. Right? So this right here is 1 megahertz. And so the Schumann resonances are way, 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 way down here at hertz. Meg is 1,000,000. Kilo is 1,000. Giga is 1 billion. Okay. So, this is 90 decibels up here, all right? And this way down here is the background data. So if you're talking about, well, this, got up to 30 megahertz, well, what is it that got up that high? So it's these right here, the aquamarine color. And what we're doing here, this lesson, this session here, the spectrograms, just as a built-in disclaimer, the colorblind need not apply here. If you are a person who either enjoys or suffers from color blindness, you're going to have a tough go of this. I rest assured, I can personally assure you of that. All right. So there's a few shades of aquamarine, and then there's a green, like a lime green, and then we get up into the yellow, orange color, various states of orange on the vine, and then we have, kind of a sunflower color, and then an orange, a deeper orange into red, and then a Valentine kind of color up here, lavender, and the fuchsia, and, these all here. So, all right, so these are your varying ranges going by fives of decibels, all right? So it's easy to kind of see this. So you can see, you match up the color. This is easy when I point this out of what the difference is, but the similarity between the Schumann resonance chart here, I should say the Schumann resonance chart here, and this one here of the background electromagnetics. Now, the background electromagnetics is measured by a different machine because it's way up in the megahertz. Okay, this is from Tomsk. All right, this is the same time period here as the other one, this one here, same time period, ding ding, all right. And what you're looking at is the measurement of relative intensity strengths to here, to where it starts piercing your freaking, your eardrums, and you get the ringing, like way up here. I would estimate, excuse me, if you're going to hear a ringing, it would probably be around this area here. But I digress. The a lot of people experience the ringing in the ears, and that's where I would present it from, of a relatively lower, relative to the scale, a lower frequency. If it's too high of a frequency, it wouldn't be recognized as that ringing. It would be recognized as the vertigo or the nausea that people feel. This is a supposition I have. It's not supported by science. I just want to say that, but it's kind of what I'm working out in my head. That these right here are where it starts going from the ringing to the vertigo, or vice versa, from the vertigo to the ringing. Okay, so we have, from the same gosh darn place, we have the decibel meter, okay, and they're running, a difference in their charts too. The two different spectros is that this one starts at 0 at the ground, okay, and moves upward in megahertz, whereas this one here, it starts with 0 at the top, and then it moves down to 40 down here. All right. Okay. And this was similar. This is from the same article. Actually, no, it's not. This is from the next. Sorry, I stand corrected. From the same guy who did the last video I did. Hopefully, not to confuse you. The other one here, it was monitoring mains, or I think it was 2 videos ago I did monitoring mains. That's one of this guy's videos here. All right, so he's showing you, so that's a buried induction coil there in the ground. All right, so this is what I wanted to point out. So this one here and this one here are both of those, this one here and that one there, are giving you the scales. Okay. I think I might have gone over in the last video, the very last video, the part A of this. All right. So you see the decibel scale here. It's running, you see there's not much going on. This is the background, nothing of the scale. Most of it sees that, but then there's these very small thin lines here of the radio signals that is giving you. They're there. All right. So, and I love that picture. It's a little tiny 3-wheeled wagon, the bamboo T antenna holder. I mean, look at this. Come on, you can do this yourself. That's sort of one of the reasons why I'm presenting this. All right. So we'll go back up here to our teaching model we had earlier. Up here at our teaching model, and we can see the waveform graph that is, what, again, I have called this a dependency. Now I'm not sure, I have no idea actually what this over here on this side is, what this wavelength is here, waveform, and I'm not sure if, I don't know, I can't read what this measurement over here is, -10 and -20. All right, so again, they classify this as 5 to 35, so this is where they're starting to measure the Schumann resonances. It's 5 and then 7. So, but you see how relatively thick this line here is. All right. All right, so I have brought up the examples of the spectrograms, okay, where you have the decibel meter. Okay. Now, why does this not have that same thing as the decibel meter? Well, let's see, we have here, once again, the waveform here. Oh, 50 to 50, I guess that's what that is. So why are we not, that's the one I'm looking for. So why are we not seeing this decibel meter here on the Schumann resonances when we're looking at it here? Okay, why is it missing here? Is because, ta-da, because all of this here is that decibel meter, and it's not quite the decibel meter because you have it's measuring the field strength in a little different way, and it's giving you these 3 axes, if you will, of the amplitude, the quality, and the frequency. Okay, now the frequency, once again, this is in kilometers, okay. The quality is the picoteslas, and that is a unit of magnetic flux, which is a unit of Weber per square meter. That's what a Tesla is. If you don't know what a Weber is, well, maybe be a good time to say, hey, dude, make a video of that. All right, so I can explain what a Weber and a Tesla is and how they get the magnetic quality. Q's quality is the magnetic. So I think I could do a video of how they get, use Teslas and the Webers as the magnetic unit of magnetic flux. All right. A is amplitude. Okay. So the amplitude is the height of the wave. It's the magnetic, I'm sorry, did I just say magnetic? Is the electric, amplitude is the electric portion, the predominantly electric portion of the wave. There's a portion of the wave that is able to be detected by a certain type of antenna, like your T-type, I think. There's a few different types of antennas. The electric, the amplitude is the easiest part of the signal to strongest, the hottest, but it's also the most transient that of the signal that you can get. All right. So the amplitude is measured in the uprights. Okay, these jammy jams here. Okay, now it's important to note that even though, see, this is divided into four modes here, okay? They're different parts of, different portions of the signal, okay? So this is like the base, the closest to the Earth, and this is the highest up in the atmosphere, in the ionosphere, like I think that's a good way to look at that. The dependency, this here dependency of the amplitude is showing you basically the height of the column of this. This is the column. So it's part of what it's showing you here is it's not necessarily the frequency, because this is electrovolts. This isn't measured in frequency. This is quicker. This is faster than frequency. Okay, you see, you can't call this a spike when there's two decided peaks, and then there's another smaller one. These are all independent peaks. They move very quickly. Even though it appears it's over the time part of an hour, it's like it is there. These are resonances. You got to sort of remember what it's picking up here. Pico electrovolts and picoteslas. It's how do I say it? It's the harmonics, it's the resonance, it's not necessarily the wave itself, which starts out being stronger. It's not until it bangs itself and creates these harmonics that this dealio, that this hardware is kind of kicking in. It's hard to kind of remember that, wrap your head around that. So these are more subtle energies that are caused by like the ripples in the pond. There's a big rock that's thrown in, but then there's the ripples in the pond. That's what this is measuring. And then as they come back and start interfering with themselves, now we got some action. Now it's a hot night for the resonances, and Mr. Schumann, and we're going out dancing and all in our get out. So that's what these are. These big spikes, they measure it up to a certain point. Dang dang chicka here at 24. Well, let's get in here. 24, and that's what this is. And then we have the next one was 14. All right. So you see that a little less than 14 there. 14 lines there. And then you have, what's that, 9.6 it looks like. How are we doing? Yeah, that hit, I would say 9.6. And then this right here, 5.4. All right, green, this is mode 4. This is 3, red's 3, yellow is 2, white is 1. So, my class, those who followed along here, if you're still hanging out with me, let me say, hey, thank you for still being here. Where are we? So the amplitude, this is really important. People use this, they talk about the amplitude. A lot of people in this community who refer to the Schumann resonance spectrum, they talk about the power rating, the amplitude, the first one here, this whole graph. And there's a really common perception, misperception, I will call it, that this is the, I think at all times, at all, you know, um, in all cases, it seems, this is an opinion, but from what my kind of man on the street interview of the taking, you know, I pay attention to what's going on. How do I say this? I'm trying to stumbling around my own words. I pay attention to the other channels, to Reddit, to whatever, to all of it. As I'm directed, I'm out there and I see what people talk about these the Schumann resonances. I'm not new here to this. I'm not my first time around the block. I've been actively uh, posting on the Schumann since, you know, on Facebook first, but then later on YouTube since January. Solid hardcore since January. You know, we're almost getting into a year of me pursuing the Schumann as my, you know, my kind of career goal here, if you will, such as it is. And thank you all for actually hold on. I got to do this for one of the monologues. It's one of the things my guide said. If you're going to get away from the soliloquize and get away from the material, you got to face to face. That way, it'll keep the distraction down to a minimum. If you can't stand looking at your own face, then get with the material. Anyway, so it's a joke. All right, so that was from them to me, and I'm only sharing you what the voices in my head have told me. All right, so it's really super important that we address this right here. That's why in some of the Facebook posts, I've put a like that, you know, done a screen capture of those two together because it's become so important for people when they're talking about the Schumann, that they look at these two as like the two most important thing and never understand what the role of the magnetic portion of the measurements is. Now it's electromagnetics, but it's also, you gotta remember, electromagnetic gravitational forces with a strong enough electromagnet magnet with a strong enough electromagnet, as in an actual thing, not the waves themselves. You can pick up a car off the ground. You can vibrate if someone has a bullet in their body with enough you can cause damage. I mean, electromagnetism, and we're talking about laser waves as well in here somewhere. Okay, where, you know, this is a discussion. The directed energy doohickeys, the directo energio doohickeys, um, they are very real and they are sending out. That is electromagnetic radiation of a very directed variety. Lasers are of that. They are light. I mean, good golly, we're talking about light waves here. So it is a thing. And the question, legitimate question is that appearing on a Schumann somewhere? Okay, was it? I'm saying no, it's not. However, you have the thingamabob that, you know, the graph that measures the background magnetic radiation of the area. Well, maybe that's picking it up. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it is, but you know, like, all right, it's a thing to consider because it's a higher energy. It's not, you know, the Schumann are the lowest the blah blah blah. The Schumann resonance energies are the lowest of the low. You know, they're gutter crawlers, as it were. They're the lowest of the low frequency energies, but you know, like that's the difference, you know, between, you know, here and there, if you will. All right. So because it is so important to understand the workings of uh, the Schumann resonances in general, the spectrogram in general. This here is a course of what I'm doing here on YouTube, teaching lesson. Um, uh, what was I going to say? So the Schumann in general, the spectrogram in general, different types of spectrograms in general. All right, that's a thing too. I have shown you what the decibel are. All right, so I'm sort of kind of up in my own head, kind of catching myself up to speed of what I'm doing. What are we doing? All right, so to my guides, direct me. Where do we need to be now? All right. So I had just kind of gotten through reading. This is the scale. See, these are periodic peaks, all right? And a person needs to remember that, or actually, I think this is a good time to kind of point out what one of the subscribers had asked me, what's the deal with these kind of lines here? They're at 20-minute intervals. Um, Basically, that's what he said, and I'm going to agree that it's close enough to 20 minutes. And so, what I had said was that what operates at 20 minutes, regular 20-minute intervals, that would be close to the Schumann uh, detector machines. What's the closest thing to the Schumann machines that operates at a 20-minute interval? That's a question. The answer is the Schumann machine itself. So herein we're getting this for hook or crook, for good, bad, or otherwise, till death do us part, apparently, at this point. You're getting these um, lines, these very thin amplitude lines of something, like taking a picture of itself almost. It's generating a snapshot. I don't know, but I'm wondering. I'm calling this noise, electronic noise, from something in the processing of itself. I'm believing. Um, all right, so because you don't see this here, 20-minute ding-dings, like it's not readily present in the dependencies. These are the dependencies. So again, how are we getting information here on this is because we're getting it from the, oh, I don't even know what to call it. It's not the decibel meter, but it is the relative strength. It's the field strength. Where are we? Field strength, relative field strength. Wait, sorry. Oh, there we go. Relative field strength of the field, the F in EMF, the electromagnetic field. It's the F in the EMF. So this right here is the electrical portion you see. All right. So on this particular one, all right. So I've said a lot of stuff about general. All right. So this specifically, I gave the readings on the heights of them, but you see this is 11.4 here, another notch at 11.4. How far away is that? It's 9 their time. And I have to say, it's important to know when I look at this, I look at their time. What is it, where it is locally, Russia time. I know that, we need to know what the UTC is, because how do you figure out what your time is? But it's more important than where they're doing this locally to look at those periodical, undulative diurnal variations. And this is what I would call this undulative, periodic, up and down of the normal course of things. This right here is an interesting pattern. Are they doing this? The question is, are they doing this to conceal something? I don't know. I hate to even suggest that. I don't know. Is it? I don't know. All right. So anyway, so the uprights, these are the uprights. You see spike here, spike here. this is measured in, again, it's decibels. This is a decibel kind of thing. It's not a frequency thing. This is not a spike of white light. This is white mode. All right. So what we're looking at is the variation of the color code, this right here, how we're getting this all on this end here, okay, is by our mixing and matching of the colors. It's the color scale, all right? This is where the variation of those colors is coming from. All right, so this here is where we're getting our vertical information from, okay? This capital A amplitude, right? This is where we're getting our height information from. This right here, this is our quality, okay? And the quality is what is giving us the horizontal information. See this? So keeping this as basic as I can, and I gotta start finding the way to end this soon because I'm almost at 40 minutes, and that was a little longer than I had wanted. But it's okay. It's good. All right. So on our horizontals, this isn't quite horizontal. However, you see there's a lot of activity. What time is that? It's 16, so that's 2, it's 4. It's 4 in the afternoon, 9 UTC there. This is a pretty notable, significant spike in amplitude here. And see, there's a little bit of a mirror there, a little bit. Generally the slight, it's transitioning between these two. Okay, it's going time-wise. I'm just looking at the same time mark there. It's transitioning from the electrics to the magnitude, and then it picks up. Remember, this is amplitude, this is electrics, this is magnetic. So after it drops in, you got to remember the electrics move top down. Bring, comes down from the highest frequency down. Amplitude never goes up. Oh, it went up to 30. It's when it hits what you consider what people, how do I uncomplicate this? When people are saying the 33, the power of 38 or 37, that's where the amplitude is coming down. Bang. And that's the point that it's transferred to the ground, is at that frequency. That frequency of which is really a pico-electron volts. This is where part of I'm trying to kind of unravel the mess of the confusing of the difference between the pico-electron volts and the frequency. When people are looking at the power of the amplitude and they're confusing it with the hertz, where am I with the hertz? They're confusing it with the hertz. This one here, the amplitude, they're confusing with the white light, all of that. That is not a frequency. Yet it's showing up as a big frequency spike. It's a pillar. It's not a spike. It's not a spike. It's a pillar of light that's coming down. Yet coming through. Where is it? Where is it coming from? All right. So it's picking up through the scanning. Because the scan has to make it looks like a ice pick shape, but it's not in truth an ice pick shape. Okay, I just want to point that out. All right, so magnetics, all right, I think this might be where I'm going to end it. So the magnetics are here. You see these are the horizontals. What I call the mid-grade magnetics or mid-grade electrics. This is sort of a mid-grade electric, but this right here, mid-grade, when I use that phrase, I've talked about this before. There's some newcomers here. This is a good time to kind of refresh this word I like using, this phrase I like using, and it's because it's a zone. It's a zone of colors. It's not just it's a range of colors between this red and the yellow or orange. Okay, so where I'll give you color range, mid-grade electrics would be somewhere in this range here. Okay, that color range anywhere between not necessarily so much on the green side, but more on the orange, the rust. Like that's the mid-grade electrics right here, and that is a combination of these two colors here, these two field vector strength qualities. Okay, those two there. Now, white, what I'm calling white mode are these two here. Okay, because the yellow and the white together will still give you a white relative to what's happening on like here. These two, even though here all four of these modes are working together synchronously, you're still getting a white spike because the white is the tallest of that, and it's the peak that's coming out in amplitude, in electrical power, in decibels, right? Field strength of decibels, right? So it is the most notable, yet underneath it, around it, fringing in the lower parts of it, are these other color combinations of the mid-grade electrics and the lower, this would be the maroon, like the burgundy-ish kind of colors. The maroon, it would be somewhere in there between green to red is a maroon kind of color, like an army drab marine kind of color combination. So that's one color group combination. And again, you have the mid-grade electrics, another group color combination there, and then you have, it's like chords, if you will. Like in music, you have chords. It's sort of the same thing here, color code chords, if you will. All right. Because this is also where these things stick together and kind of stratify. They're able to do this because it stratifies. You're getting different codes, numerical, synchronistic codes. All right. Okay, and so these are here mid-grade magnetics. Okay, this right here. So you see a lot of these are bouncing together. These are coming at you. You have to remember that. The magnetics, I'm sorry, here, the amplitude is up and down, vertical. Okay, the upright, up and down, vertical. All right, I'm reminding myself of this. All right. So these are horizontal. These are laying on the ground. These bounce along the ground. And these are the heaviest of the waves, and they've kind of calmed down for the night. But these guys here, the mid-grade, which are more on the electric, these are going to be more on the electric side of the magnetics. Quality 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so 9 relative to the picotesla, the 9 scale is high. This is a high number for this. This is the 1010 is very high for that. Let's scroll over. That is relatively high for that, but you see there's not much of that going on here. Most of it is below 8.6. But this here, that was 1010. Right, we saw that over there. That was 1010. It's there. But look, there's another one there, 910. Most of it is here at 810. Or I can't say most of it, but this range here from 610 to 810 is where a lot of it's kind of been staying. This is notable. It's here. Where are we at here? Yeah. 12.9. Yeah, these are all. It's per meter squared. So you're not only looking at this is something that's important to know. You're not just looking at per meter squared. All right, you're not just looking at this number here. You're looking at this number times this number here. All right, that's what's giving you the bulk of. This is a density. Once it starts getting into magnetics, you've moved away from the dimension side of the time element to now the density of the magnetics. So by multiplying this by that in equations, it's not quite this easy, but like this is kilometers. All right, you got to remember that frequency is measured in kilometers, so it's bouncing the size of the wave. They always measure electromagnetics from the perspective of the wavelength. Okay, so you got to remember, they're always measuring the perspective of these waves, the bands. Well, you talk about short wave, you talk about, CB citizens, you change the frequency of it, you get a little different, kind of scale. So that's what they're measuring here. What is the wavelength size? And this is actually, like I said, they're kilometers. All right, so you have this band of this frequency range between 752 and 8.805 kilometers, and this is the crest of the wave in kilometers size. And so here you have the kilometer size of 2650. So per square meter, right? Kilometer is 1,000 meters, and so if you take 1,000 kilometers and you measure, when you multiply this by that over a few thousand square kilometers, you start getting the picture of the relative strength of the magnetic waves that are affecting you. Oh, it's picoteslas, sure, okay, but there's a whole lot of them. All right. And so I think that's what the point is. All right. So I'm getting on close to nigh on to an hour. I'm at getting near the 50-minute mark with this. All right. And so I think I have given a good thorough go through of the most recent Schumann resonance chart that I have. There we go. So I even updated. All right, so we have another little peak. All right. So, but it's not white. It's, like you gotta kind of read its color. And this is really important. And the height, relative height of it. There you go. It's 6.2. It's not that big of a thing. All right. Okay. So, I think that's a good review of the Schumann for today. I've done about an hour's worth of this. All right, so we'll go over here. The Schumann resonance. No, that's not mine. This one here is the Schumann resonance. How much? Oh, on my my channel. There it is. So I have 710 members now. Oh, that's very nice. All right. So 710. All right. So this is the Schumann resonance harmonic. Oh, I have a new post from John Francis. All right. Okay. So sometimes I have stuff. All right. This was very interesting. I'm not going to put the sound on. I found that was very interesting. All right. So we're going to play music. Take us out. I'll scroll through the channel. So, on that cheery note, everyone, thank you very much. Have a great and wonderful rest of your day, and I appreciate you being here.